So why are you here today?
I'm here really because being new into the community, I really want to get a sense of what's happening in the community, the activities going on, and actually what people value, what people think about what's happening. Certainly, I'm also here because I've got a connection with the Wimbledon Club in that we use Wimbledon Park a great deal here at St Cecilia's to do most of our sporting activities, or 30% of our sporting activities, particularly athletics in the summer. We have our sports day here, and we also from time to time use some of the park area. The rest of our sporting provision is either on site, which is very limited, but also at Barn Elms playing fields, which is some way down by the Thames River. Yeah.
So how much more of an asset to your school do you think this area could be?
Oh, absolutely massive asset. I mean, clearly we're limited for provision, but really I'd like to speak on behalf of all schools in the area because I think they have the same issue. All schools appreciate that link between sport, physical activity, mental health and well-being of pupils. And so what we want to do is try to diversify and bring opportunities for young people to engage in physical activity. And I think I've been really encouraged by what I've heard today because lots of people here are worried about the schools having more of an impact on the park and therefore the local community not being able to have an access to the park. And I think what I've heard here has really encouraged me in that it's about open access, it's about bringing people together and not keeping schools separate to the community. I think that if you think long term, my role is to make sure that the pupils that go through my school actually are putting young people into society that are going to be well-rounded, are going to be healthy, are going to be able to contribute. And we have such massive issues with mental health and well-being of young people today that can become a real limiting factor for us being able to do that. So the younger we can get them involved in sport, the more diverse the range of sports are, the better it is. Sometimes if you're only connected or linked to one or two sports, you then hit a tiny proportion of your school population or the youth population in a community, when actually what we should be doing is trying to open up all pupils to as many types of sporting activities as possible, and therefore really embedding that lifelong attitude towards being outdoors, getting healthy, feeling good about yourself, feeling better about yourself, and having a better mental health and well-being.
And of course, one of the areas they are talking about improving, possibly, is the stadium and the athletics track.
Yeah.
Now, I remember when I was at school, we had a gravel track that we'd run on, and then one day we were taken to this new tartan track, and you felt special, and it inspired you. Can the facilities children have access to make a difference as to whether or not they're excited by it?
Of course it does. I mean, in the very same way that if a pupil or a young person wants to be a solicitor and they go to chambers, at Temple, they see that environment. It's professional, isn't it? And so I think any redevelopment to something like the athletic stadium puts the professional element of sport into place and does raise people's games. That whole idea of competition, isn't it? It's about looking around and having an environment that's safe and that's well resourced for them to be the best they can at that particular sport. So I think that the environment does make a difference in just the same way that a science laboratory would make a difference, or a design technology room would make a difference. I think it's the same principle.
So does St Cecilia have a future sporting hero, or they just need that facility?
We have loads of them. I mean, our students do very, very well. We have a number of students who at the moment are elite in hockey, rugby, netball. In fact, our rugby sevens, I think we're one of two state schools to go as far as the national competition, and you're going up against schools like Marlborough. So we're doing really, really well. We have speed skaters at county national level as well. So in particular areas, we are doing really well with pupils. A fantastic PE department that, in spite of that lack of provision on site, do amazing things. If they're down here at the Wimbledon Park or if they're at Barn Elms. But we could do so much more if we had that wider provision and that diversity in the range of sports and provision that we can make for students.
So how important is it that all the different groups sit down together and come to some arrangement to make the improvements?
Incredibly important because it's all about compromise, isn't it? And I've sat here this morning and I've listened to a range of views and a range of concerns, and all of them are valid from the perspective of those people that are speaking. And I think because there is shared ownership of the park and it is a community, I think it is about people coming together, and I think it's about thinking about, well, how can we make the best of this for the community that's here? How can we think about the provision we make for sport and the well-being of all people, irrespective of where they come from and irrespective of their age?
Specifically on the subject of the athletic stadium, you currently use it, do you?
At the moment we use the athletic stadium from time to time in the summer term, and that's for athletics for our pupils, and we'll hold events here like Sports Day, for example. That was one of my first sort of whole school events that we had a few weeks ago, and it's fantastic to see the pupils up in the stands, all in their house colours, cheering each other on. We have got children that come to our school with wheelchair access. The kids were cheering on the wheelchair racers as much as our children there that are running and playing athletics at county and national level. It is a way of bringing our community together. So yes, we use it regularly.
So do you see that if these proposed plans were to go through, would you see there being more access for you and your children at the stadium?
We would hope there'd be more access for us, because why wouldn't we? At the moment we're going all the way to Barn Elms to use facilities down there, and that eats into the learning time for pupils. It's time for them to get changed, time for them to travel, and then by the time they get there, the difficulty is you've got a limited time to learn and to develop, and then they have to come back. So in terms of the learning and the amount of time you can put into sports provision, the closer we are, the better it would be for us. We also spend hundreds of thousands of pounds a year coaching students down to there, and so actually we'd really like to be able to provide something that's much closer for pupils, and use that money for other things.
So just so you're supportive of what's been put forward today from a local educational...
From an educational context, I mean, absolutely from an educational context. I think that we do need to work with the community. I think we do need to be mindful of the comments that were made about access. I go back to my original comment is that it's a community, and it should be for everybody in the community, and it's not just about my students or any other students using it during the school day. It's about how they will use it before and after the school day as well, and how they'll feel part of that community.